Hi, everyone. It's me, Krylios, Team Rayceen Productions MC and producer. And with me is the one, the only Rayceen Pendavis. Hey, Rayceen.
Bam! Greetings and salutations, all.
Yes, we have a very special guest with us today, the legendary Miss Martha Wash. Welcome.
Oh, hello, hello.
It is such a pleasure to have you with us. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you very much for having me, and Happy New Year.
Thank you. Happy New Year to you. Happy New Year to you. So, before we get into the questions, please let me give you a proper introduction. We have the ubiquitous voice of Martha Wash. She has been featured on hit songs by CNC Music Factory, Seduction, and Black Box. As half of the Two Tons of Fun, she performed and recorded vocals with the legendary Sylvester before they recorded as a duo and later became the Weather Girls. Martha Wash has recently recorded music as a member of the First Ladies of Disco and has released her third solo album, Love and Conflict. Now, let's start with the First Ladies of Disco. Please, Marcia, tell us how that experience has been and what you all have in the works.
It's been fun. First Ladies of Disco consists of Linda Clifford, myself, and Norma Jean Wright. And we've been together for the last probably 5 years. And it's been great, although this pandemic has really slowed everybody down. But it's really been fun meeting new fans, putting new music out. The thing is, we would be regarded as heritage artists, and that's fine. You know, we've seen it all and we've been around for a minute. So with the book called First Ladies of Disco that was written by James Arena, my business partner and I, James Washington, decided to kind of take it even further and create a group called First Ladies of Disco, which is actually an interchangeable group. We initially started with Evelyn Champagne King, myself, and Linda Clifford. Over the few years, we've had Anita Ward. Oh God, she's on the tip of my tongue, from Taste of Honey. It'll come. Thank you, Janice Marie Johnson. Thank you very much. And so it's been really a lot of fun. And over those few years, we've recorded some singles that have hit the Billboard Top 10 charts. And so that's been really, really great. The fans have been great. And starting this year, we're going to get back out there on the road and do some more shows we have coming up. So it's just really, really been fun.
Oh, that is exciting. And I know, Rayceen, I know that you saw the First Ladies of Disco perform in New York City in July 2017. Share a little bit about that experience.
Oh my God, can I tell you, it was the most wonderful event. First of all, thank you, Miss Wash, for being a light, being a trailblazer, for being such a catalyst, especially for the LGBT community. You have inspired us to believe. You've inspired us to stand in our truth. Your music has been a backbone in our community. It's been a staple. It has helped so many folks in the LGBTQIA community, especially myself. There have been times, you know, you feel a little down, you feel a little depressed, you feel like you just can't get through it. And baby, you can put on one of your songs and it will bring me together every time. I was listening to Taking Away My Space early today, and it took me to a place that it just made me feel good about life. And it just allowed me to let go and just say, you know, whatever you're going through, it'll be all right. And you'll get through it. And that's what your music has done. And all of you, Evelyn, Linda, Alpha, Norma Jean, Janice, all of them. I remember that night with all y'all being, first of all, you ladies, your voices are like the eighth wonders of the world. You know, your voices have been this wonderful, amazing thing. To see you live with a track is amazing. But with a band, it goes into the stratosphere.
We
You
have a
know,
lot of fun, yeah.
oh my God. And you can tell when you ladies are on stage, the magic, you feel that, first of all, you women have paved the way and have laid the foundation. And it is about music and about the artistry and about lyrics and about singing and about the craft that has allowed you to sustain for so long.
Yeah, it's really been a blessing, I think, for all of us to still be here and still be doing what we like to do, and gaining new fans, a new generation of people that are finding out about our music, which I think is great. So you know, we all stand on the shoulders of other greats that came before us as well. But it's like I said, it's a blessing to still be here and still be able to do what we do. And hopefully we will be able to continue on for as long as possible. I think we all would agree that we want to do music that connects to people, that grabs people's attention, that they can sing to or dance to or feel however kind of way they want to feel to the music, you know. So that's a great thing. And I remember you that night too, when you came in, because the room hadn't opened yet and you were sitting outside waiting for the doors to open. I remember.
Sure was.
I was walking in and I saw you sitting there, and we spoke briefly for a couple of minutes.
Sure,
and I said, well, they should be opening the doors in a couple of minutes, you know, give them time. And I was going off to the dressing room to try and get started getting ready, you know. But yeah, I do remember that night.
It was so beautiful. And I forgot to mention Thelma Houston. How can I not forget her? Because she's a part of that wonderful, wonderful experience as well. And I have to mention her because all of you ladies have been the soundtrack of my life. And I think about that night so I was standing in line after the show was over. And the blessing about social media is how you connect to people and how it becomes these interchangeable experiences. And while y'all were waiting to, you know, sign autographs with James came in and I was like, oh my God, James Arena. And he was like, we start talking and he was like, what's your name? And I said, Rayceen. He said, from Twitter. And I turned around and Alpha and Norma Jean were right behind him. And I said, oh my God, I'm in diva heaven. And we start talking. And Alpha asked me, she said, why do you look so familiar? She said, what's your name? Rayceen. She said, from Twitter. And we just bust out laughing. And it just made me feel so good. And so it was one of those moments that, you know, when spirits connect. And when they're able to understand, this is my job, this is what I do, but I see you. I understand that you love me and I thank you. And that makes people feel so good.
Exactly. Meeting new fans and connecting with the older ones, you know, that have been the fans since day one, you know, of everybody's music that they grew up listening to and things like that. That's the fun. And sometimes it's fans out there that you do remember all the way back many years ago.
From these days.
I remember you know. Yeah.
I like that you brought that up, and you especially to Rayceen about the LGBTQ community, because I know for many people first heard Miss Wash as a backing vocalist for Sylvester. Talk to me a little bit about your thoughts on his music's longevity, Miss Wash.
It's still going on, and again, there's a new generation of people that are getting to know his music, and which is a good thing. And there have been so many people that have reached out regarding doing various works on his life, you know, and I think it's great. I think it's great. I excuse me. I tell people that I think if he was still living and he was the age that he was then now, there would be no reservations about him being a gay Black artist.
Mm-hmm.
It just wasn't, you couldn't be out there at that time.
Yep.
You really, really couldn't be out there at that time. And he was not going to live his life like that. You know, it was like, hey, either you like me or you don't. I'm going to do what I'm going to do. I'm going to be who I am. And so the people that are out here now, it's all great, you know, it's all well and fine, but there are other artists that didn't really get their props the way they should.
Yes, and I loved how you brought that up, because with Sylvester being one of the first openly LGBTQ singers, you know, arguably the first out gay gender fluid Black man in pop music, you know, how is that stark difference between how the music industry and the public responded to him back then and maybe someone like Lil Nas X today?
Oh, I think I think he had his fans and they were out there. The way Lil Nas X is out now, Sylvester could have been the same way.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, if he was alive today and he was still of that age, it wouldn't have been any tea, you know, no problems.
Yeah.
At all. You know, I have so many, I always tell people, I've had the presence of meeting Sylvester many times. But I've had some moments where we sat down and we talked. I remember he was in line going to see Patti LaBelle, and you know, and every queen in the world was there. You know, everybody was all in Ibergrelda. And my girlfriend turned around and said, "Rayceen, that queen looked like Sylvester." I said, "Child, all these queens look like Sylvester." And I turned around and Sylvester was standing there. You know, Sylvester was like 6'9", you know, because he was just so tall, but so, he was just Sylvester. Yeah. And I said, "Miss Sylvester James." He went back like this and said, "Yes." And I said, "I love you." And he just bust out laughing. And he said, and I said, "Who are you here with?" And he was mentioning some people. And I said, "Well, come on up with us. And we in line and we all here. So come on up." And he came up. He talked to, this was pre-cell phone and we didn't have no cameras, but we talked about his stuff with the hot band, and we talked about the Pointer Sisters, and we talked about you ladies, and we just talked about how whenever it was so magical, the way your voice is. And when I talked to Jeannie Tracy, I talked about how every time all of your voices got together, it was rock, soul, funk, but church was the foundation of everything y'all did. And it stood the test of when you went into Blackbird, when you went into, you know, Mighty Real, or when you did anything, church was the foundation of that through every song that you guys created. And it's so amazing. And we talked and we just laughed. And when I was talking about Jeannie, she said, "Yes, child, we had church all the time."
Yeah.
Oh, that is fabulous to hear. I mean, the thing with Martha Wash is you have this wonderful, great voice. This, you know, it's like mixing gospel with pop and dance. And it's like something you've never experienced before. Just really, it cuts through the dance floor. It cuts through the club. You feel it like within your actual soul. Like you feel it within your soul. And you know, growing up, that was one of my favorite things. You know, anytime I heard your voice, and I actually remember distinctly the first time I was aware of Martha Wash. And you know what it was? It was the It's Raining Men sequel with RuPaul. And I was like, oh my gosh. I mean, I had that song on play. There you have it. She has it right there. I had that song on replay. I was maybe 10, 11, and I just had to get into it. I just started listening to so much more and so much more and so much more. And that's how I actually developed my love of 90s dance music, first of all, ever. That's how I started developing my love for that. So you have touched so many people, touched so many generations. And as we move on, there are just more that get to discover you and learn more about you as the time goes on. And, I would be remiss if I did not bring up, a person who is no longer with us, and that's the other original Weather Girl, Izora Rhodes Armstead. What was that like, the friendship with Izora, and, what would you like to say about her?
Izora was crazy. I think we were all kind of crazy at that time. But we grew up singing in different community choirs back in San Francisco. And that's really kind of how I met her. And funny enough, our churches used to be right next door to each other. And it was only divided by a little small walkway, a little alley. And sometimes during the summer, if the windows were up, we could hear each other's services going on at the same time. True. And so my former manager, Doug Kibble, he put Izora and us together in a gospel group called NOW, News of the World. And so that's how we kind of came together and got closer as far as singing partners and things like that. And then when I auditioned for Sylvester, I brought her in, and it's kind of like the rest is history.
Certainly, the rest is history. No, and what are your thoughts on the legacy of the Two Tons and the Weather Girls musically, and as foremothers of the body positivity movement?
I think our music has still been able to stand the test of time on, I would say, probably the first album that we did, the first Two Tons album, because we had some hits off of that. And funny enough, I still hear like Just Us or I Got a Feeling. I still hear it on the radio. Sometimes I'm in my car and the DJ will put it on and I just say, okay, go ahead.
Do you want a boogie? Earth Can Be Like Heaven. I mean, all of those.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, I hustle and twirl and still do. And kick my leg up, honey, and I'm going to be doing it until the day I die to your songs. I mean, it's just amazing. But when how, I don't think people understand, if it had not been for women like the two of you, there would be no Lizzo. There would be, because y'all made big girls glamorous, honey. Y'all was giving ball gowns and all of that. Y'all made being big glamorous.
Well, it's the funny thing. Somebody really kind of brought it to my attention some years ago, and I said, "Yeah, you got a point." I think up until that time, you didn't see large women on out there in the front, being artists. At the time, you had Ella Fitzgerald, and she had started. She was a large woman, but she started losing weight over time.
Yes.
But up until then, really, if you think about it, the only large woman that was out there at the time that I can remember was Mama Cass from the Mamas and the Papas.
That was about the only one.
And they came out in the 60s.
Yeah, but it was nobody doing what y'all were doing, because big women were revered as these fabulous singers that were in the background. But I remember one time y'all was singing with these fabulous teardrop sequence dresses on, and y'all was shimmying and shaking in the lights. I was just like, that's right. Make them skinny girls stand in the background and suffer.
Yeah. And suffer, huh? But it's true, so we've I think we stood tall for the big girls out there, but at that time, the the record industry didn't know what to do with big girls. They didn't think that we would be able to sell records, that we would be able to stand on our own, and we wouldn't be able to get the kind of optics that the thinner artists would get, you know. But God bless Izora's spirit. She's going on. I'm still here. Lizzo's out there. There's some more out there.
It
You know,
is.
I have always thought that sometimes being in this business, talent is way down on the list. And I have felt that for decades.
Yeah.
You know, with Adele, when she initially came on the scene, she was a much larger woman.
Yes.
But times had changed and she was accepted. Her music, they said, yes, she was large, but she had beautiful music that connected with everybody. So she sold millions and millions and millions and millions and millions of records, you know. But it took so long for the industry to kind of, I would say, open up their eyes and realize that it doesn't matter what you look like per se. Can you connect with the audience? Can you help them make their dollars and cents? You know, because that's their bottom line, period. If you can do that, fine. But hey, I'm still here chugging along.
And doing it, and doing
Yes.
it well,
And doing it fabulously.
Doing it and doing it well.
Yes. And I like how our producer, we also want to ask your thoughts on It's Raining Them, transgender artist Mila Jam's 2021 gender neutral version of the Weather Girls classic, It's Raining Men. How does it feel to still, you know, see, you know, this song being able to be done in so many different ways, new people having their takes on it? What's that like for you?
Whatever works. Whatever works. Yeah. Listen, Paul Schaefer gave his blessings and everything. I'm cool with it.
Yes.
I think I saw it once. It looks great.
Yes, it does. It does.
And somebody else is gonna come along and reinvent something else about it. So hey, I guess it's gonna be one of those songs that will never die.
Oh yes, certainly.
I mean, it resonates with the spirit, and it's become a gay anthem.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, wow, definitely.
I have hosted so many prides and have seen you, and you have been there. And honey, you have been so gracious backstage to everyone. You have, and what I love about your spirit is you are an icon, and you are like the auntie to to all the gays, Auntie Martha. There's Auntie Martha, but it's so beautiful and loving because to us, we celebrate you and we love you and we relish in your spirit and in who you are. And then when we see you at all the prides, you're so gracious and so kind and so loving. And I've watched you interact with the younger gays who are like this, you know. And to the older gays, to us who
listen, when I mentioned to my roommate that we were interviewing Martha Wash today, he said, baby, Martha Wash, listen, the gays, they go up for Martha Wash. like live.
It is so wonderful. It's so gracious because I think about so many experiences I've had with you, like the winter explosions up in the Catskills. And I think about all the times we've sat in backstage, and you've always sat and been very gracious. And the way you spoke and to folks who or be like, Rayceen, oh, I'm so scared to meet her. I don't know what to say. Well, I said, come on and meet Auntie Martha. She's an angel and you'll love her. And you have made every person, whenever you speak to them in that moment, feels as if they are seen. And it's so, and I just say that because I love you. I love you. And I feel like we don't tell artists enough what they do to us and what they mean to us and what your music, your legacy, your life has how it resonates for us.
I appreciate that. As you know, as far as the fans are concerned, it's like they're there to see you. and you want to meet them, and they've got stories to tell you, and their feelings about you. And a lot of them have said, I came out to your music, or you don't know what your music has done for me over the years. So those are the things that I like to hear, to, I guess, let me know that I'm still doing something right. You know, somebody still wants to listen to music that I'm doing, even though it may not be the thumper, 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 you know, but it's still music that people can grab a hold of. And over the last 10 years now, I've really kind of switched lanes as far as the type of music that I do. You know, people still want we want the dance music. When are you going to do dance music again? And I'm saying, baby, do I still really want to do dance music when I get 80 years old? That kind of thing. I want to shift. I want to try other things. And the thing that I've always asked the fans to do is just, you may not like the music initially, but just keep listening to it. Yes. It'll kind of grow on you after a while. And that's been the case a lot of times. They've said, you know what, I did not like that album. But I kept listening to it. Yeah, you know.
I love the album Before Love and Conflict, the one where you're in a beautiful room and it's shot in black and white, and you got on that crop Gilda, and baby, you are singing and looking so regal, honey. I loved it. And I thought it was, I think about, there's one performance that stands in my mind, and I had wrote it in my notes. You did a blues medley in 1996 on the Gordon Elliott show. And I never forgot that. I said, God, I wish she would do a jazz album. And I was like, wow.
That's I did a tribute to women of jazz and blues.
Yes, you did.
Yeah, and oh God, I did that years ago. And
I can tell you who it was because I saw it early today. It was Billie Holiday.
Yep.
Dinah Washington.
Yep.
And oh God, who was the first?
Bessie Smith.
That's it, Bessie Smith. And Nancy, I was in heaven.
Nancy, Ella Fitzgerald, Ruth Brown. Yeah.
I was in heaven. And on the stage with you was with Dionne Warwick and Mary Wilson, God rest her soul, and Stacy. And Stacy, the young girl from
I know you're talking
Ex-Girlfriend. I know her from Ex-Girlfriend, but she was on the X Factor.
Stacey Francis, yeah.
Yeah, Stacey Francis. And I remember that I watched that and I just sat and said, wow. You know, but it's about your voice, and your voice, like I said, is that gift, and in any genre, it fits. And honey, you can sing opera, you can sing the phone book, and we will be there, on, and be right there throwing our shoes off and clapping and applauding. So we love ourselves.
Well, and another thing, so you've appeared on several episodes of TV One's Unsung in 2014. So you were the subject of your own episode as well. How was that experience, and how do you feel about how your story was told?
It was accurate. It just probably needed to be part 1 and part 2. A lot of stuff that could have been told, but I was happy with it.
We're happy with it. That's great to hear. So, of course, the Martha Wash story continues with your new album, Love and Conflict. Please talk to us a little bit about this project, making it, how you feel making it, and, you know, just everything that has come together to create this album.
Oh God, it took us a few years to do this album. The writer, Sammy Basboo, Andrew David, and Philippe Petit. I recorded this album in Montreal. They're all Canadian, and Sammy reached out to me and said that he had a song that I might be interested in, and I think that one was It'll come to me in a minute.
That's all right. I think the artwork is amazing.
Funny enough, Sammy did the artwork.
Mhm.
That is an actual painting
It's amazing.
that he did. He's a wonderful, wonderful artist. But he painted that original and then switched it over to a photograph. But there is an actual painting of that. And so we all came together and we, since all the musicians and things were in Montreal, I just would fly up there and we would do block off days and go in the studio and record these songs. It took us a while because life happens, you know, always. And so I think it took us 2 years to do this album, basically.
It's an amazing album. Yes, I love it. Glamorous Flowers. Yes. I love it. I love it. Yeah. I'm on the ride with you, honey. We're gonna ride until the wheels fall off. So you know, and I just thank you. You know, I mean, it's amazing. It's a beautiful, wonderful. It's a labor of love, and you can feel the lyrics. I was listening to some of the songs. I was like, wow.
This is different from the last album, which was called Something Good. This is more, I want to say, I call it a gumbo. James doesn't want me to call it a gumbo, but I call it a gumbo in that there's R&B, there's blues, there's a little rock in there, but it's also music that you could take and lift it and set it down into the 60s sound. So that's why I kind of call it a gumbo, but it's also kind of a really a retro feel to it as well, you know. So again, since it's on my own label, Purple Rose Records, I can record any kind of music I want to do. Now, the next album, I don't know what it'll be. But you know, I'll take my time and do it. I'm still thinking hard on doing a gospel album. People keep asking me to do a gospel album, and I really do want to do one. And I've been saying it for years and years and years. But I'm leaning.
You did a beautiful song on Bishop Flunders. 2015 gospel album.
Yeah,
you know, and I was like, wow, I know a gospel's coming soon. So you know,
it has not left my mind. It has not left my mind. It's about trying to get people together, figuring what kind of direction of gospel that I'd like to go into. I want to say I'm more of a traditionalist as far as gospel music is concerned. I don't have a problem with the newer sounding gospel, but I grew up with a lot of more traditional.
In the genre of Claire Ward and Jackson. Right there.
Clara, James Cleveland, Roberta Martin, Sally Martin, staple singers. A lot of them.
Right there, because you know,
Adam Clark, all of them.
Yes. I was listening to Mary Clayton's gospel album, and I was loving that. And I was loving that in her journey, and praise God for His blessings. And you know, because you know, and to see all of you amazing women who stood on the shoulders of, like you say, Ella Fitzgerald and Sarah Vaughan and Diana Washington, and then you got people like Aretha, Martha, Thelma, Linda, all of y'all, and who these girls like Beyonce, Fantasia, Jennifer, they stand on y'all shoulders.
Certainly. Let's see all right, this is a fun one. What name a few underrated or lesser known Martha Wash recordings that you would recommend for the fans?
I'm not. I thought about that and I said, it's a whole bunch. And even funny enough, even songs that I don't even remember. remember.
But sometimes you listen back to it and you're like, oh, what this is really good.
my James, my manager, he'll send me a link to something. He said, "Did you record this?" And I said, "Send it to me." And I listened to it, and I said, "Yeah, I did record that." I totally forget about songs that I've recorded unless I hear it, and it strikes me, and I said, "Oh my God, I forgot about that song." That kind of thing. So asking me that question is like,
it's a couple. Yes.
I mean, and I think, like, I remember hearing the soundtrack, The First Wives Club, and it's hard to come behind Elton John, but baby, when you took I'm Still Standing to another level.
Yeah, it's
as you said that, Rayceen, what is your favorite Martha Wash song?
Someone Who Believes in You.
I love that. Mine is Carry On. Carry On is mine. And that has such a special place in my heart because when my partner passed away a few years, wow, it's been a minute now. Wow, 3 years now, I guess. That song really, really, really carried me through, that moment. So it has such a special place in my heart. And so for me, that's my favorite Martha Wash song.
That song is a lot of favorites for fans, and they've told me about it. It's just one of those songs that you can really grab a hold of and say, I stand alone in the eye of the storm. I've been through it. Pressures all around trying to wear me down, but I hold tight to what I know is right. I can still hear the way Mama used to say. Those are words that I'm sure people can really grab a hold on and think back on and say, yes, I get this. I've been through this. I know about this, but I still carry on.
Yes.
Carry on. Whatever it is, I'm going to carry on.
It is so true.
That is so true. Well, before I let
I could go on and on. We don't want to.
Exactly. I know. Before I let you go. Okay, so what is next and upcoming for you, and how can people stream and download and all of that, your music?
Let's say give them all the addresses and stuff.
Yes.
Facebook page, The Martha Wash. Twitter, Martha_Wash 14. Did I get that right? Yeah. No. Twitter is Martha_Wash. Instagram is Martha_Wash 14. As far as getting the last two albums, the Something Good album and the Love and Conflict, you can go on Amazon, especially if you want the physical copy. Finally decided to put out physical copies for those.
Love that.
Albums. Go on Amazon into the CD Baby marketplace, and you can physically order those copies. What else? Just that, really.
You gave us a social media, new album, how to get it.
Yeah.
Anything else?
Just going out. Just going out there and getting on the road. I never did get a chance to really go out and promote Love and Conflict because of the pandemic. We were supposed to premiere it at the South by Southwest conference 2 years ago.
Yeah.
I was in rehearsals in Las Vegas 4 days before they shut South by Southwest down, and we all had to come home. So I never did get to premiere it, So hopefully this year we're going to go out on the road, do a tour, and really promote Love and Conflict, because I really didn't want to do it so much online. This is the kind of music that you really need to hear, in a space.
Yes.
You know, there's some music you can kind of get away with over Zoom and all of that. There's other music that you really want people to hear in a space, in a live space. So that's what we're working towards for this year.
Thank you. And to all our viewers, all those links will be in the description so you can like, comment, share, follow, buy, download, stream, all of it. Rayceen, final words for the legendary Miss Martha Wash.
Like I said, it's so important to tell people what you mean to them, and especially now more than ever. And your music has definitely inspired us. It has lifted us, it's motivated us. It's been a catalyst for my life. Mm-hmm. And as one who is proud and out and will never go in anybody else's closet again, but to know that it's women like you that when we were breaking those barriers and didn't know we were coming out the closets and kicking the doors down, that your music was a part of that. It motivated us. I think about whenever I hear any of your songs, and I close my eyes and I twirl and I think about faces and places and people and times. And I thank God for those memories. I thank God for those experiences. And I hold dear your music because it was a part of my life and still is a part of my life. Mm-hmm. And it's not too many artists that can touch people the way you touch them. And that is your gift. That is your gift. And that is what God gave you. And there's only one Martha Wash.
Never forget it.
And I thank God that every time that I sit in your presence, I am blessed with greatness.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. And I really appreciate the fan support over all these decades, you know, and it's really just a blessing to still be here, to still be able to do what I can do for as long as I can do it, you know, and still reach new people, you know. So I think that's the blessing for me.
And thank you so much. And it's certainly a blessing for us that you were able to be here with us. Thank you so much for your time. It has been an honor and a pleasure. Viewers, if you want to find out more about Miss Wash, all of that will be in the description below. If you want to follow me, you can follow me at It's Krylios on all forms of social media. To find out more about Rayceen Pendavis, go to rayceen.com, and please follow Team Rayceen on social media and subscribe to our YouTube channel. But most of all, thank you for watching.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
And tune in to 10 Minutes with Martha.
Yes.